name's Grace. I'm back for another video. So today, I'm gonna be doing an unpopular opinion video. I asked you guys on my community tab, hi guys, what are your unpopular and controversial K-pop opinions? I wanna respond to them in a video. And I waited a little bit, let a large amount of comments rack up so that I had something to talk about. All right, starting off, Rehab says, I mean no hate. I'm literally a MOA, but TXT wouldn't be as big if they weren't from Big Hit. Yeah, we all knew it. It's kind of like, I don't think it should be called privilege necessarily. Like, it shouldn't be called privilege because a lot of trainees, all of them go through a lot of hard work and years of training. For most of the time they go through years of training to get where they are, and they work really, really hard. None of them are privileged in that sense because they go through a really grueling process of being trained. But groups from larger companies do have an advantage. Because not only do most of the time the companies have more financial prowess, can literally pay for more, but they also, you know, groups that debut from either the Big Three or Big Hit or Cube or Pledis, like these bigger entertainment companies that people don't know the names of already, there's an association that the group, you know, will be better because they're from a company that people already know about, and they get a little more screen, I guess, people recognize them more, you know what I mean, because they're looking for a group from a company that has produced a group that they already enjoy. So yes, I agree that TXT wouldn't be as big if they weren't from Big Hit, but I don't think they would be unsuccessful. Yeah. Full Sun with 2 exclamation points says, I think that some problematic K-pop stans are just going through a phase. Most of them are really young, and K-pop is probably the first thing they're fans of. I think we all went through the rock is better than pop music, or the One Direction is better than JB, and vice versa, or the hard otaku phase. As much as I think it's kind of rude to comment back on some hateful comments, I also think we should kindly answer these younger stans in order for them to grow as people. So be kind and don't let other people be hateful. Okay, so I went through that phase, and like I was very toxic when I was younger. And you're going through a whole hormonal change. Puberty sucks, like it's really bad. And puberty can be used as an excuse for a lot of stuff because it's just like bad. It's really bad. So yeah, I agree. Me says SM should stop making new units in NCT. I wholeheartedly agree. I understand it's their concept that they're like never ending or whatever, but to me it's just getting like confusing and too much. Like, I'm not someone who liked NCT to begin with. Not that I dislike them, but I'm not a fan of them. I never got into them just because like I didn't really like their style of music. But I imagine for someone who's just getting into them, it's really confusing. They have 21 members, and all the members can be in different subunits, or have been, or graduated from, or are getting put into new subunits, and they're creating more. It's really confusing, and I feel like it's too much. Just have NCT as a group. You wanted a group, you formed it. Why are you making more out of them? It's just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I know it's part of their concept, but I still don't get the concept. Yeah. James says, the trend of making rap verses sound like a completely different song needs to die off. I agree sometimes, not all the time. Like I'm trying to think of examples. I'm thinking like in Red Velvet Ice Cream Cake, I like the song a lot, but I feel like the rap doesn't add anything to it, and it sounds like a completely different part of like, it sounds like a completely different song, and I don't like that part of the song. I feel like if they had just gone into like a bridge, like a vocal bridge, it would have been better and added to the song more. But like in the case of Feel Special by Twice, I think it's Dahyun. I love her rap verse, and the breakdown is really cool and adds to the song, even though it sounds like it's from a completely different song. So I guess it depends on the song. Frenchie Nguyen, I'm sorry. Frenchie Nguyen, I'm so sorry for anybody's names who I butcher. Frenchie says, song-wise, Psycho by Red Velvet is a whole bop, but lyric-wise, it comes off as problematic to me because of how the lyrics seem to romanticize a toxic, manipulative relationship. I guess, I think someone explained the lyrics to me. I think it's supposed to be more about, like, how, like, someone can make you, want to pull your hair out, like that kind of crazy about them, but you can also be so enamored with and so in love with the same person at the same time for different things, and make you crazy about them that way. So I think it's trying to show the parallel between the two types of crazy about someone, you know what I mean? And I think they play it well, because a lot of relationships are not perfect. There will be down times. So I think Psycho kind of goes into that. And they talk about how people say that the couple shouldn't be together anymore, or like, why are they even together? But they talk about, we're the only ones who get why we're together. And sometimes relationships are like that. So I don't really see how it's problematic, but I can see how some people think it is problematic. MYS Miss says, some armies are trying to claim that BTS isn't K-pop, yet they're still trying to participate in K-pop shows and awards. If they want to distance themselves so badly from BTS's roots, they need to commit to one side. I think music shouldn't be defined by personality. If someone is really nice, it's not going to make me listen to the songs I don't like. Personal example, Holland. Okay. If someone has a trash personality, I might still love the music. Personal example, Big Bang. Yeah. This is especially true in K-pop, where most songs aren't even made by the artists. I have one last one that I will never change as long as fan bases are around, but it's still a pet peeve. Even though I've been a fan since 2012, I want to say that people definitely got too obsessed. It's one thing to love music, appreciate the performers, or respect the idol's work. It's another to fixate on these idols and create extreme fantasies in your mind. Some people go too far in pretending that their idol is somehow involved in their life. It's borderline unhealthy just how much some fans will fight over their idol, over something they're not involved in. It's nice to see fans supportive of their faves, but there are just some things you'll never know the full story about, so we can't force ourselves into the situation. Okay, for your first opinion about armies trying to claim that BTS isn't K-pop, I've never seen an army say that. I'm personally an army, so like I'm in the loop. I follow like fan accounts or whatever. I'm in the loop. I've never seen anybody say that, but you say, they have to pick a side. I don't think so. Like, yeah, their music is famous globally, but like, why does it? I've never understood why people say it has to be K-pop or it has to be Western pop. Like, it's music. It's pop music. It's not like traditional music or cultural music where there are significances about them that have to be respected in a certain way. It is the pop music of a country. It's like saying that Shakira, a girl from Colombia, who sang in Spanish for a really long time, still sings in Spanish, a Colombian-born singer, like, has to choose between having hits in America and accepting awards in America or the Western world, or, English-speaking Western world, and choosing between that and, like, winning awards and making popular music in her home country of Colombia. Like, that doesn't make sense, and I don't understand why people make this assumption that K-pop has to be just K-pop or it has to be just pop and that they can't intermix. Like, it's music, people. It's music. Get over it. It's not that serious. And I think music shouldn't be defined by personality. If someone's really nice, it's not gonna make me listen to songs I don't like. That part I agree with. Just because you think someone is nice doesn't mean you need to listen to their music if you don't like it. Cut blank. But on the other side, if someone has a trash personality, I might still love their music. So people always say separate the art from the person. But if buying into the art and investing money and investing time supports the person with a trash personality who does questionable things, does bad things, then you're not separating. You're still supporting that person who is bad. Like, you say you don't like them and you say you're against everything they stand for, but like, why are you still supporting them? And that's only in cases of like if someone's actually problematic or has some issues or has done something bad. Like, I will never listen to Chris Brown. He beat women. Yeah. Like, I don't listen to his music. I don't support him at all. I don't say Chris Brown's terrible, but I like his music. No, I'm still supporting him if I say that. But if it's just like, I'm not really a fan of his personality, but he makes good music, that's fine. And I think the last opinion, you know, the one about people getting too obsessed, goes without saying. People get too obsessed in everything. People get obsessed with TV shows, with all types of musicians, not just K-pop, even though K-pop is at the forefront of like crazy fangirls right now. Like, it was Directioners, it was Beliebers, it was, you know, it was a bunch of people for a lot of different times. And K-pop's just the crazy fandom that people like to point out right now. KVP says, Somi shouldn't have placed number 1 and produced number 1. If TXT debuted under any other company, no one would even know/care that they existed. Wow, that's harsh. I understand BTS are trying to fit with Western standards, but they better not have a Western artist in their next comeback. For example, they've had Nicki Minaj and Halsey. Okay. Jisoo is the only consistently stable vocalist in Blackpink. I'm not saying the rest have bad vocals, because I personally like their vocals, but usually Jisoo is the only one who can perform the same as studio version on stage. When an idol leaves a group, it is not always the management's fault. Hating on the management or complaining will not make things better. Just because somebody doesn't like a specific song doesn't mean that they hate the group who sang it. Example, I don't like song Bad Boy by Red Velvet, but I still love the group. Number 7. Ooh, wow, okay. The whole Seungri scandal has put off Big Bang as a whole. I don't even want to listen to any songs by them anymore. BTS paved the way. Yes, they helped bring K-pop to more countries and gain popularity in other places, but they did not pave the way. They, along with other groups who added K-pop audiences, and they didn't do it alone. Okay, for number 1, Somi. I don't watch, what are they called? Survival shows. I don't watch them. I don't know how she performed. I don't know how anybody else performed. And we've learned they're rigged, so it doesn't really matter now, does it? I think number 2, if TXT debuted under anybody other company, no one would know or care they existed. That's harsh as fuck. There's no need for that. I think people would care that they existed. I think some people would know about them, but like I explained earlier, there is a bit of, the relevant word to use is privilege. They have a little privilege coming from Big Hit, the producer of BTS. So I don't think they would be nearly as popular as they are, but they would still, you know, they're talented. Jisoo is only... Oh, I understand that BTS are trying to fit the Western standard, but they better not have a Western artist in their next comeback. Like I said earlier, people, it's music. Do not take it this seriously. Why are you trying to force K-pop idols to stay in K-pop and Western artists to stay in Western music? Like, I don't get it. Let people make the music they want to fucking make. You have no say, and you shouldn't have any say if you have this strong of opinion about it. Like, saying they better not have a Western artist. Or what? So what? What's the implication? They make music they want to make. They make good music. Anybody who collabs, great, it's a collab. They wanted to collab together. What about it? You can dislike the song, but you don't need to be so hostile about it. I've just seen it a lot that people are like, well, they better not have another. It's not just this one person. Sorry, Kate, I'm kind of ripping into you. But it's like, I don't get it. I've seen a lot of people saying it, and I just don't understand. Jisoo is the only consistent, stable vocalist. I don't really watch Blackpink's lives. I know I've seen an MR removed where they were singing and dancing, and they didn't really sing. They just kind of talked and let the background music do the work. But I know that, like, Rosé has gone on shows and sang, and you can hear her real voice, and it sounds like what she sings in the studio, so, like, I get it. But I don't really know. When an idol leaves a group, it's not always the management's fault. That should go without saying. Sometimes idols do some stuff that breaches their contract. So I know when people leave groups for dating scandals, it's not necessarily right at all that a company would put a dating ban into someone's contract. But if someone were to date someone after they had signed a legal document saying that to be in this group you could not date anybody, they breached a legal agreement, so they're gonna be kicked out of the group. And obviously it's not right to prohibit people from dating who they want or living their life how they want, but if it's a sticky situation. Because if you sign a contract and make a legal agreement, you cannot break that legal agreement without there being consequences. And people act shocked that when idols break their legal agreements, as in, breaching their contract with things that they do, that they get kicked out of the group. It was literally in the contract. Like, I don't agree with the bans being placed, but I understand that once the contract is breached, the contract will end and they will be kicked out of the group. So it's not always the management's fault, it's sometimes an idol's fault. Again, and if an idol was to do something illegal, like, say, a DUI, killing someone in a car accident, I know drugs are an issue. I personally don't consider marijuana a drug, but I know it is an illegal substance in Korea. So if they were to be caught smoking weed, it would be a thing. I don't know, like hard drugs, cocaine, heroin. If they're caught doing coke, yeah, why? Idols are humans. They should be held responsible for their actions. So if that means they get caught doing something bad and get kicked from a group, it is partially their fault. Just because someone doesn't like a specific song doesn't mean they hate the group. Yeah, perfect, great way to put it. That's fine. The whole Seungri scandal put me off to Big Bang as a whole. I kind of have to agree. I was never into Big Bang to begin with, really, but I do like Bang Bang Bang, like it's a bop. But, once you hear his voice, it's like, yikes. BTS paved the way. Okay, people. Other groups paved the way for BTS in the K-pop industry. But BTS paved the way for other groups in the Western music industry. There's a bit of a difference. Because people always say, oh, well, Wonder Girls was the first K-pop group in America, and then Girls' Generation was soon after. Sure, but did they gain widespread popularity the way BTS and, say, Blackpink are? Absolutely not. No one really knows who Wonder Girls are. Granted, they are a pretty old, they're a lot older. They were here with Tell Me, I think in like 2007. They were here for Tell Me. And then Girls' Generation were here in like 2011, I think. They were doing The Boys promotions here. And sure, they were here, but they didn't really make waves the way BTS has. And people say, oh, well, Gangnam Style. Okay, I think, oh God, when did Gangnam Style come out? 2012, 2013. So I was like 11 or 12 when it came out. I was in middle school. And let me tell you, people I don't believe this. I don't stand by the words I'm about to say. But when Gangnam Style came out, people watched that music video and looked at Korea and thought of it as a joke. They said, wow, look at this Asian music video. It's so weird. The Asians are crazy. The Asians are so weird. They do stuff like this all the time. It's insane. It's crazy. Look at how weird they are. Sure, it was a massive hit, but it's in the way that, like, Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO was a massive hit. Like, it's kind of like, it was taken as kind of like a joke song, and Gangnam Style was taken as a joke. In no way did it pave the way for K-pop idols and K-pop musicians to be seen as serious contenders in the Western music industry. Gangnam Style did not do that because people thought of it as a joke. And still carrying over from that, there's still people that think K-pop is weird or that Asians are crazy, and Gangnam Style didn't do that. Wonder Girls didn't do that. Girls' Generation didn't do that. While BTS has had influences within the K-pop industry and people paved the way for BTS to become popular in the K-pop industry, BTS paved the way for K-pop idols and groups to be bigger in the Western music industry. There is a difference. Water Cow says fourth gen needs more powerhouse vocals. Fourth gen started in 2019. Please give people a minute to please give them a minute to more groups to come out, and for more groups to come out. You don't know what's coming in the fourth generation. Like, second gen was, I don't know, like 2005 to 2000, I'd say like 13, 14 is kind of when most of the big second gen groups kind of stopped. That's like 10 years. And third gen kind of started around 2013 and it's gone up to 2019. It's been 6-7 years. It has been 1 year since the start of fourth gen. Calm down. We really only have Everglow, ITZY, I guess ATEEZ, even though they debuted like 2 or 3 years ago. Give people time. Give people time. Daniel David. Oh boy. Blackpink is overrated as fuck. All their singles have the same sound and structure. That video you already reacted to was really on point about the choreo being very similar, and how their chorus is just line and heavy EDM, and videos that just so the West that can say, and their chorus is just a line and then heavy EDM vids just so the West can say, wow, this is a banger. I feel bad for them because YG sucks with promoting them and coming out with very limited singles. They definitely could have released more quality songs. Okay. I don't like the use of the words overrated and underrated in K-pop because people don't know what they mean. They lost their meaning. I do not think Blackpink is overrated. I very much enjoy their songs. I very much like their aesthetic. I'm personally a fan of that. I'm not necessarily a Blink, but I like their title tracks. But like, yeah, I do feel bad for them. They don't promote often. They're kind of models now. They're brand deal slaves to YG. And yeah, but I like their music. I don't think they're overrated. Oh God. Jane Lewis says, sorry for advancing the rant. It's another NCT one. Oh God. Sorry in advance for the rant. People need to realize that there are groups other than BTS and understand that BTS talks about some sensitive issues. They are not the only group. Cough Cough Stray Kids gets dragged for noise music like NCT, but have honestly stayed away from cookie cutter love songs and really dig into the topic of growing up, expectations of the future, being unsure of where you're going, mental health, cough cough. BTS is great, but they are not the be-all end-all of music, and their stans try to say they're not K-pop is a load of BS. Again, I've never heard an ARMY say that. NCT is underappreciated, and the Dreamies deserve to stay as a fixed group. However, the stans that try to separate the units and only support certain parts of members and shit on everyone else need to get the priorities straight. All 21 members are friends and behind the scenes and would be disgusted by the amount of hate that goes on around. The same for BTS. I think that the way their fandom behaves is absolutely toxic, and the group really needs to acknowledge that it's getting out of hand. Putting down other groups won't place on a higher pedestal. They say all that crap about anti-bullying campaigns and supporting their juniors to the industry, but as soon as someone else in the industry gains an achievement that may or may not surpass them, and the army calls foul play. Literally, aren't you doing right now what you just said was wrong? They bring up the fact that when BTS debuted, they had a difficult time with bullying and use it as justification to drag everyone else down in the present, going so far as to say that every other fandom has it out for BTS because we're sick of this bullshit. Poor 17 and GOT7 finally got Daesangs for their hard work, and ARMY tried to reduce it to participation trophies because it was an award show that BTS didn't attend. Other groups worked just as hard, if not harder, for the right— Whoa, all right, let's not. You are literally doing what you said was wrong. It seems like you get a pass because you're not an ARMY, though. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, so I agree that BTS is not the be-all, end-all of music. They're not the only group that talks about sensitive issues, but you say don't talk down to people, but you literally just talk down to a whole bunch of people and a group and try to, you know, bring them down a few notches, which is what you said was wrong. So I think you should be able to separate toxic fans from a large community of people that are very loving, that are very supportive. You know, not one member of a fandom defines the whole fandom. So if you see toxic armies, know that not all of them are like that. Okay. Alpha Solo says, Blackpink is overrated. Okay, another one. A lot of these are about Blackpink, by the way. Yikes. They have like 12 to 14 songs that aren't remixes. You get a bit tired of hearing the same songs over and over. The last 2 CD comebacks were a letdown. Their visuals were stunning on the videos, but I feel that there was makeup for song being a bit empty. I know they can do better. Rosé and Jisoo have really nice vocals, but they don't have many places in their songs to show them off, since it's literally Jennie and Lisa rapping and then bass drops for a chorus full of onomatopoeias. Rocky from— okay, let's go. The rest are about other groups. I don't think Blackpink is overrated. I just said that. I really like their music, blah, blah, blah. But I will admit they are becoming, like I said, brand deal slaves to YG. Or they're kind of becoming models. Their visuals are stunning. But I will kind of say that Blackpink over the years, to me at least, is kind of becoming Jennie featuring the other members. I'm pretty sure that the way it's going currently, I have a feeling, I'm not sure, I have a feeling that Blackpink may come to an end pretty soon, or try to start to peter down a little bit, and it will kind of make way for a Jennie solo career. And Blackpink will be the end of Blackpink will kind of be a way to promote Jennie as she goes into her solo career. Rocky and from Astro is one of the best dancers in the industry, but he gets slept on because his group is slept on. He's classically trained, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's a really good dancer. Astro is a bit, I guess, underappreciated. They're not super popular. Twice's powerful vocals get slept on because they're seen as cutesy and girly and all that jazz, when really the way they sing songs like Fancy and Cheer Up is very hard to do, especially live, and they get no respect from people who have the excuse that they don't really sing. Yes, Twice's vocals are very good. You can see that in 16. I've seen clips of Nayeon singing and Jiho singing and Jungyeon singing. I think that's how you say her name. They're good singers. I think when you're on a produced show or a competition show, you show off your vocals in songs that are more vocally challenging, but then when you get put into a group, of course, you have the aspect of dancing and stuff. So the actual songs they produce as Twice don't show off their vocals as much, especially now because they have to be a group and line distribution and they have to dance and all this kind of crap. But I kind of agree because they're really good singers, but I also, they gotta dance and stuff. Let them, ATEEZ was the best rookie group of 2019. They didn't have a single bad song. The choreography is exhausting. Okay. I don't know. I feel like ITZY deserved Rookie of the Year, even though I personally wanted Everglow to win because I stand Everglow more. ITZY deserved it. They, as rookies, made a huge impact, like incredible impact. And I'm sorry to say, the same magnitude of impact was not made by any other rookie this year. Not Everglow, not ATEEZ. You can see just how large and massive ITZY got. And ATEEZ and Everglow did not really get to that level. And then, the other groups that debuted this year as rookies, I can't remember that many of them. So that kind of speaks to how much ITZY overshadowed every other rookie. I don't even like their songs. I don't like their look or their concept or their songs, but I can admit they took over. Music SK says, you can disregard this as I'm not vocally trained, but K-pop idols need to be trained better vocally, especially with newer groups. You can hear their vocal cords straining to hit some notes, and that's not healthy at all in the long term. I understand that dancing and performing is a vital part of K-pop, but companies need to also focus on vocal training. SM is one of the only big companies that I've seen actually pay attention to this. There are so many talented vocalists out there, but I don't want to see them damage their vocal cords by using incorrect technique. Okay, I kind of agree. Because I've seen Leah from ITZY, her pre-debut singing. She has a very deep register and she's a powerful voice. But now when she's singing with ITZY, she has a really high voice and you can kind of hear her straining. So I think the style of K-pop songs, you don't hear a lot of girls with deep voices, or you don't hear a lot of deeper registers in K-pop. And most of the time that's where singers are more comfortable singing without straining themselves. So I think it's just the style of K-pop songs right now that is kind of, people are being trained to sing like that. And it's hurting people in the long run. You can look at Park Bom, for example. She had a beautiful R&B voice before she debuted with 21, but she was trained by YG to sing a certain way. And it works for her, but you can tell sometimes now she has to strain a lot. She damaged her cords over a long time, and that's me. That's coming from a bombshell. I love Bom, but yeah. And I can see the same happening to Rosé because YG literally... Okay, one of my unpopular opinions being inserted right here. I think that Blackpink was created originally to be a replacement for 21. They have the same number of members. Rosé sings in almost the same exact way as Park Bom did. You have the badass female leader with Jennie, and then CL, kind of parallel. And then you have this incredible dancer, that's Minzy, and then Lisa. And you can kind of see the parallel. And then also, As If It's Your Last was supposed to be a 21 song. But, there was a bomb scandal, and then a whole bunch of shit went down with 21. And Blackpink debuted the year before 21 debuted, so I'm pretty sure there was a plan to disband 21. Debuted the year before 21 disbanded, and I'm pretty sure that was the plan, to have Blackpink replace 21. SLJ says, first off, I don't like when idols call their fans their girlfriends or boyfriends and say lovey-dovey things to them. First off, I find it a bit cringy. Second, it makes the fans think they're in a deep relationship with an idol, which makes the fans overprotective. But in reality, it is still a fan-to-artist relationship. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I guess it can be a bit cringy, but there's fan service. Fan service is a big part of K-pop. I'm pretty sure most fans do not think they are in a deep relationship with their idols. It's just a few people who can get to have some problems thinking that. Malik says Soyeon from Idol may be the best Idol talent we've seen in a while. Not to hate, but BTS, oh my god, everyone's just got oh my god. No hate. Not to hate, but BTS fans claim BTS international fame is due to unique lyrics written by them. But they were never the pioneers of this. Big Bang has done it for years. Epic High members of SHINee did, as well as many others. In my opinion, Big Hit executed a really good marketing plan to gain fame internationally by focusing on media when no one other management tried to do that. Don't forget BTS gained fame in Korea because they were so popular abroad. It didn't have much to do with the substance of their music, not saying it's terrible, but more of the management. Even when their popularity in places like China, Japan, South America is easily rivaled by Big Bang, EXO, Super Junior. In North America and Europe, they are the clear winner. Okay, so I don't know what Soyeon had to do with that, but I don't listen to Idol. I don't like their music a lot. But I do know she writes her own music. I personally don't care for her rapping voice. I'm not one for super nasally. Like, I know her Senorita intro. I don't know the words, but she kind of does this like nya at the end, nya, and it's like very nasally, and it's not like I just don't like that. I know some people are into it, but I guess, like, I personally don't listen to all of BTS's music. I fell for, like, them as people. Like, I saw their interactions together, and they really attracted me. I thought they were cute. I thought they were funny, all this shit. But I don't know. Everyone's starting to say BTS is overrated, I guess. Thesaurus says, BTS's music was better before they became as famous as they are now. I.e. before Love Yourself. I like certain songs off of every album, but I feel like the Love Yourself project has an obvious message to it, and their older music that, like, driving, like, we're rebels and all this shit, like, couldn't go along with that message. So I guess it's more just, like, taste. Noor A says Zimzalabim is a total flop. I wouldn't call it a flop. People really like it. People let people have their music taste, but I personally cannot stand that song at all. Twi Fascination says, my unpopular opinion is that I ain't a fan of controversial opinion videos, posts, or at least some of them. There, I said it, oh well. I agree with you because a lot of people disguise their unpopular opinions as hate. Yeah, they say, it's just my opinion, but then go to, like, drag people for no reason. And trying to say, it's my opinion, you can't come for me. Yeah, I can come for you because you're being rude about people. Alex Doe says, girl groups are more versatile, mainly concept-wise. I agree, but that's mostly because there's a societal expectation on men to be more manly. And, how do I word this? Boys are always expected to be, like, manly, kinda, and, like, protective and all that. And females have been oppressed a lot more than men throughout history. But because of that, in pop culture, you're seeing a lot more strong female leads coming to the forefront, and that concept being purposely pushed of girls being strong, or girls being traditionally pretty in pink, or girls being badass femme fatales. Like, you're seeing a lot more of that because it's purposely being pushed because females have been suppressed for a very long time. So yes, they can be more versatile because people are purposely pushing those things. But men, because they have been on top for a very long time, people saw no need to kind of change up how they were perceived. But men are traditionally perceived as the protectors, the providers, the big strong man. But not all men are like that. And I think because of that, you see less versatile concepts from boys, because there's still that societal expectation that should be broken. I have a degree in memes says, there are idols who should have really thought if their mental state was strong enough to become a public figure. Okay, so this is a really heavy one, and this is what I would consider a controversial opinion, like a truly controversial opinion. I think that this is hard, but most idols start training when they're very young, like 11, 12, 13 years old. Idols, people that young, do not have any experience knowing what it's like in the quote-unquote real world. So you're taking kids who have these dreams, and they train for years and they work themselves up, but they get to where they are, and where they debut, and they begin being ridiculed and having to go on stage every single day, not eat, not sleep, do all these crazy things, diets, styles they're not comfortable in, all this crazy stuff. And they basically just wanted to sing or dance, and they probably auditioned for their company, like, I don't know, some people it takes them 10 years of training. Like, children do not know. So I think that if you say, idols should have thought about the fact before auditioning, then I think that's wrong, because that's not fair to put on children to make that decision. Okay, Cassidy says, oh boy, this is it. I don't care as much as other people about EXP Edition, Lana, etc. releasing music in Korea. I enjoy some of their songs. What draws the line for me if they were to fetishize the culture? Okay, this kind of goes back to what I said earlier about how some people really want to separate Korean music and Western music and don't want them to mix at all, and kind of how Shakira, that example of a Colombian woman having hits in the English-speaking Western world. I think that K-pop should be considered like normal pop. It is the pop music of a country. It is not traditional music in any sense. It's not used in ceremonies. It's not used in any religious contexts, anything that if someone who had no idea about Korean culture was to enter, they wouldn't be disrespecting the culture. In my, it's hard because people will argue that K-pop is meant to represent Asians in the music industry, but it wasn't created to be that. K-pop is just the pop music of Korea, and I equate it to, excluding certain people from participating in pop music in a language or from releasing songs in a certain country just because they're not from that country. There's a double standard that goes along with it, like, you want your idols to be recognized globally. You want them to be, you want them to gain that recognition, and you congratulate them when they release songs in English. And, I keep using the example of Shakira, but, making waves in a country where that language is not your first language. And I personally believe that, like Cassidy said, I think it's Cassidy, like Cassidy said, as long as it doesn't cross that line of fetishizing a person's culture or doing anything disrespectful, that anybody from anywhere in the world can be included in pop music, because it's just pop music, it's radio pop. There's not really much cultural or ceremonial or serious significance behind popular music. It would be a different story if people from outside of Korea were trying to insert themselves into traditional Korean music scenes or, things of that sort. That's where I'm going to leave that. And that's just my opinion. You guys can talk about it below, but that's a rocky subject. Okay, Bear Squares says, my biggest one. Super Junior shouldn't be supported. The group is full of racist, sexist, and homophobes, and only about 1 or 2 of them are actually good people with no prejudice. I can't deal with them. They're so constantly ignorant and rude, it blows my mind. So, when I saw this comment, I actually had to go do some research. Super Junior, some of the members of Super Junior have said some blaringly prejudiced things. I couldn't find anything about racist, but I know that they do extreme fan service, acting to be gay on stage, kissing, feeling each other up, but then will blatantly support the banning of gay marriage in Korea. Or one of the members said that women cannot be overweight, but men can be. Like, those are things that, like I explained earlier, I will not support that group because that's a genuinely problematic statement. Like, that's a genuinely problematic thing that no one should believe. And they still believe these things. The members of Super Junior still believe these things. And that is the line I draw where someone is genuinely problematic, where I will not support their art. I cannot separate the art from the person, because giving my money to them and supporting them is supporting them. Giving my money and time and effort to watching their videos, listening to their music, getting invested in whatever they are, that supports them. So, I will not be supporting Super Junior or artists that do things like that. Yeah. So, this is a long fucking video. I'm so sorry, guys. I hope you guys were able to sit through, and if you did, thank you so, so much. Leave your opinions on these opinions in the comments down below. I really love hearing from you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.